Welcome everyone to the final stretch of the Advanced Mazda MX-5 series presented by Heusinkveld. Welcome to the ever so famous Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Qualifying is just about to wrap up and we are going to bring you the starting grid already. And it will be a standing start, and on the front row, a shock if you ask me, Olivier Henrico is on the front row with Eugenio Polici. James Newell will start in third. Charles Wolfe starts off in fourth with the top five being rounded out by Mario Alfredo. Bren Shinkloff starts off in the 16th place position, with 7th place being rounded out by Matt Mullins. Matthew Bartlett starts off in 8th, with Gadias Petrovsky's starting off 9th, and 10th place being rounded out by Philip Weingart. Jeremy Wilson starts 11th, with Matthew Breton starting in 12th. And then 13th place will be holding Aaron J. Reynolds. I'll go ahead and bring you the starting grid, the rest of the starting grid here up on your screen, as we will cycle through 25 cars here for this week, as the last driver to not set a time is Michael Folds. I'll go ahead and get your live pictures sorted here. As for some reason, we're having a couple difficulties here for the interim, so we'll go ahead and start. There we go. That'll be a little bit important, but we'll go ahead and start off with this for now. No on-screen graphics just yet, but I'll go ahead and keep you all up to date with everything coming your way. That's going to be starting off with the field in the hands of Barney the Flagman. Didn't want to roll that again. There we go. As I have everything sorted, finally we ring for one more driver to grid. It is Michael Folds. He has gridded, so now the revs will rise. We have 30 minutes on the clock for the 9th race of the season, green flag. And we are green flag racing here at the ever so famed Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And watch as the field charges their way down here into turn number 1. Is anyone going to be last on the brakes? It's going to be pretty much everybody last on the brakes. All the passing opportunities available here throughout the opening portion of this lap and throughout the majority of this course. As we take a look from up above, we'll go ahead and show you where everybody is at. At the front, it's Olivier Henrico in the lead. James Newell second, third place Eugenio Polici, and in the background it's multiple drivers scrambling for positions. Folds gets doored off the track. He cuts the course and he brakes directly in front of Carlos Fraga, who makes contact. They'll wreck. They're both out of the race on the first lap. What have we just witnessed on the first lap here at Indy? I am astonished at what we have just seen. Not only is Nicholas Shepard not here this week, but Michael Folds in his second start of the season without Nicholas Shepard being on the grid. He is now out. The last time Folds had started, they're making contact in the back here for about 16th place, 10th place, correction, contact being made. Matthew Breton in the top 10. Petrovsky's and Wilson's, these two side by side, the 11 and the 13. The 13 of Wilson will get ahead for 11. Petrovsky's there with that monster number 11. And then Tony Wallace and that 17 with that Mav MX-5. And look in the background here for Aaron Reynolds. He's going to make it 3 wide, no doubt, as they'll make their way down towards turn number 1. The slipstream's stupidly powerful here. due to the long straightaways that we have, and it's going to be first on the brakes. Maybe contact is made. More drivers go off. This time Wilson gets the worst of it. They're all facing forward though. After contact entering turn number 1, we had just seen that as well. Mario Alfredo is off the track. We'll see what happened with Alfredo here. Looking from up above, did he get contact? Oh no, he just lost the traction right on corner exit. He came back on here through the runoff, so I thought something had happened where he had to dive through. Look at this, multiple drivers. I think the 19th Sugamelli had cut the course. He has dropped back many positions here. But I was about to say, the last time that Michael Foltz had started a race without Nicholas Shepard on the grid, he had won. That was back at Sonoma, I believe the second week of the season. And, well, while we still have a chance, and while we definitely still have a chance, well, hold on. We'll come back to this in a second because that is Tony Wallace, who is dropping positions, who gets contacted by Justin Reynolds. Side by side they go. Look at Tom Sanders putting the nose in. Up on the curb goes Justin Reynolds. Wallace trying to fight back. He'll have the preferred lane here. But Reynolds will have that run and the advantage on the right-hand side as we make our way back up onto the front straightaway. As we watch the field go by here, we'll go ahead and bring you, while we still have a chance, especially the championship standings coming into this event. It's Michael Foltz, Nicholas Shepard, P1, P2, and then everyone down the field. We're going to leave this up for the next 5 seconds. Take a screenshot while you still can. In the meantime, we have some battles to get back to because everybody's decided, you know what? Now is the time to start swapping positions once again. And up in second place is Eugenio Puelsi in the second place spot. James Newell on the back bumper. Still absolutely astonished as to what we had seen on the opening lap coming into this event. Matthew Breton and Philip Weingart battling for the 8th place spot here. So they'll make their way from the back straightaway and through the next few corners. Breton manages to hold off. Tony Wallace is around off in the back. He's off in the background at least. As the time continues to tick down, about 25 minutes, just over, remaining here at IMS. I think maybe we finally have a chance to look. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. We did see it as it happened, but we'll see if we can get a look back at the lap 1 incident between Foltz and Frege. But nobody's calming down. Their battles all over the racetrack. In fact, we can emphasize this a little bit more as well. If we switch over to the intervals now, the gap to the car ahead. In this case for Puelsi, he is 4/10 behind Olivier Henrico. Olivier Henrico is 4/10 ahead of Puelsi, and that pattern continues to go throughout the entire field here on the timing tower. So Philip Weingart and Aaron Reynolds, they are 4/10 of a second separated between each other. Coates and Petrovsky's battling side by side for P12. Sanders and Reynolds battling amongst themselves as Reynolds, Justin at least, is off and around in the background, just comes back onto the racing line. I'll go ahead and see what exactly happened to the number 21 here on corner entry. With the 16 and the 4, he just loses traction. Great avoidance by the 4 of Tom Sanders. Well, I don't think we'll have a chance to look at anything here in a second until the end of the race, basically, because right now it's Matthew Breton who's off in the background, and another car is involved. That is Philip Weingart. Both drivers have severe suspension damage. There's more drivers around that are off. Jeremy Wilson is one of the drivers. I think Aaron Reynolds, no. Petrovsky's is another driver that's around. Again, I ask, what is happening here at Indy? I thought Oldham Park was providing an absolute insanity of action that was happening throughout that race, but no, IMS says, you know what, I will do you one better, as Petrovsky's will try and hold on, but bear with us here as we're going to have to run this back quite a lot. So there's the contact between a couple other drivers ahead. Man, that is Petrovsky's getting the suspension damage, and oh no, just doesn't hit the brakes. And that takes out Jeremy Wilson, who had nowhere to go. Didn't even know what was happening up ahead of him. Bear with us one more time. So we'll have to look around and see Philip Weingart. Oh, it's suspension damage. And then something with Matthew Breton. I'm not sure if he had suspension damage. He did not have suspension damage. He just got turned around, but definitely looks like there's a little bit of suspension damage there. My oh my. Well, back to live pictures here. And just like that, up front, it is a sight that we have not seen before this season. Save for James Newell, but it's a sight that we have not seen before this season in terms of everybody in the top... well, let me rephrase it this way. The drivers in the top three have been in contention for the win. Especially with in the past few races, especially James Newell, who started out on the podium. He's continuing his podium run after starting this season halfway through at race 6. We're currently at race 9 right now. And that was through Donington Park, Oulton Park. Now this week we are here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I'm definitely missing a race in between them, but this is a sight unseen where we have drivers in the top 3 that normally, yes, they do run around or in the top 3, but not without Folds and not without Shepard. Shepard's taking another drop week this week, so that will be accounted for in the iRacing scoring. But in terms of the broadcast championship, it has completely blown it out of the water. If, well, not that graphic. If we go with this one here, Folds is 25th. And you would still technically get points and still have an 80-point lead over Nicholas Shepard. Wait a minute, I hear contact in the back. I think everyone's fine. A little bit of dent of sheet metal. But in the meantime, while this battle for the lead continues on, some drivers launching themselves over the curbs, we have effectively a 7-car race for the lead here at IMS. And we're only 10 minutes into this race. I cannot stress how much this race has been turned over on its head. Not only is Folds out, but we have drivers in contention for a win that, under maybe some normal circumstances, say for James Newell and Olivier Henrico, may not normally be in contention for the win. At least not with Shepard and Folds, because those two have absolutely put up a fight. I was going to think, coming into this race, oh, you know what, maybe I'll set a bounty for a driver that's not named Michael Folds or Nicholas Shepard to win a race. I would set a bounty and be, the first driver would earn some amount of iRacing credits, but I would feel like in order for that to qualify, both of them would have to either A, show up, or B, not be wrecked out, especially if you're the one of Michael Folds, who has this view of the field going by right now. We may have to account for drop weeks here in our broadcast championship at some point, because they are fine in the iRacing championship. Look at Henrico, hard on the brakes, deep on the brakes. Contact is made. Charles Wolfe nearly gets sent around. Henrico has sent it hard on the brakes, and that is the kind of style of racing and braking that we expect to see here at IMS. Everything has been completely flipped over right now. Charles Wolfe is actually in contention for the top spot in the championship, only by 100 points, but with his current running position, this is where he sits. For the iRacing championship, it will take the drop weeks into account. So for Folds and for Shepard, it will take the worst results in AX, though. So it will take only the best 8 results for the iRacing championship. For the broadcast championship, I don't think we're going to do that, because then we have things like this that are happening. Oh, look at the 5 of Puilsi, who just saves it. He's going to lose the draft, though, but he just holds on to it. Eugenio with a save and a half here. Not the first driver to be losing traction here around this course, but oh my goodness. Did I mention we're barely even halfway into this race? We still have 18 minutes, just over 18 minutes left to go in this race. James Newell leads. He was in contention for the lead last time out at the Hungaroring. He was in contention for the win last week at the Hungaroring. He almost got the win, but he just wasn't aggressive enough in terms of defense He wants to try and right that wrong, no doubt, coming into this week. He's been on the podium every single race that he has started so far this season, since the halfway point of the season, more specifically. And man, oh man, is he ever consistent. We'll see if we can bring you the... Oh, well, maybe not. I was hoping that would work, that would not. But the current game points should be 350 for first place, 220 for second place, and so on. But unfortunately, that does not seem to be the case for our graphics for this week, so we will adjust that for next week. But look at this site. We have now 6 cars in contention for the race win. One of them is already very banged up. That is Charles Wolfe here. We have seen lurk around the top 5 for the last few races this season. Not so much. But man, oh man. What a race so far. As we can maybe finally take a little bit of a moment to just settle down. Oh, never mind. Justin Reynolds and Matthew Breton have decided to do the complete opposite of that as Wesley DeCruz. We've seen a little bit sparingly this season. New livery, if I remember correctly, but DeCruz just saves his car. Meanwhile, Coates Moreno and Aaron Reynolds are battling for the 9th place position right now. Coates comes out on top of that battle as he makes his way through, so it's going to be between Moreno and Reynolds, Aaron Reynolds in this case, for the 9th place spot, both of which still in the top 10. No doubt these two are going to be battling side by side as they make their way down the front straightaway, unless Reynolds decides, you know what, I want to work together, and looks like that is the case. You can tell from the shadows as well as the body language of the car itself for Reynolds that now he just wants to help Moreno catch up to Michael Coates. So great sportsmanship, great race awareness there. Great knowledge that battling amongst yourselves is not exactly the best option. You have a driver that is vulnerable directly ahead of you. Well, I wonder if we have a chance, maybe, finally, to go ahead and look back at the first lap incident. I'm going to take this as a little bit of a yes as we reach the halfway point of this event. So we're gonna bear with us here for a second. We're gonna see if we can get this on replay here. If we can potentially. All right, we're gonna bump this back just a little bit more. Let's bump this back just a little bit more. So take note of Michael Folds and then Carlos Fraga. Carlos Fraga, oh man, that's just a racing deal. But then just hear from Folds, that's just a clear brake check, and then Fraga as well just kind of escalates it, and then both of them end up taking each other out here. We're gonna ride on board with Fraga and just listen in. And then we'll do the same from Folds. Yeah, I will say, look at this one more time, but from the blimp camera and in slow motion. This is an official series. We're right here. Of course, it's lap 1. It's going to be chaotic. I think Fraga kind of advantageous. Yeah, sure. But to be fair, not the worst thing in the world, but it is lap 1 as well. I think the best move for Folds there was just to take the slowdown and then just move on. But then the brake check happened, and Fraga didn't respond too much better in kind. And that is my thought of that. Meanwhile, we come back live as Coates is all the way all around facing the wrong way. He's going to take the scenic route and just sit there for the time being. As we'll go ahead and get a replay to see what exactly happened with Michael Coates just now and Aaron Reynolds. Oh, just minor contact. And more contact as well. Still a little bit more contact. And Coates rapidly getting out of the way there. As we'll go back to the blimp camera angle. As we come back, I think, live, that is a car that is going around. That is Frankie Sugamelli. And yes, this is live. That is Sugamelli who's just going around. And it's replay after replay after replay today, as we'll see if we can get the appropriate angle here. There's Frankie Sugamelli. What has just happened to him? We may be having... Oh, we're hitting live. Well, that would be the first issue. I'll make sure we are actually live. Bear with us for a moment as we come back to live pictures. I did see just the tail end of that for Sugamelli. We'll see if we can get a replay of that a little bit later on. But for the 5th place position for Matthew Mullins and Matt Bartlett. Nope, correction. Matt Mullins, Matthew Bartlett. There we go. Bartlett up to P5. Well, as for my verdict on the Folds and Frege incident, personally, brake check wasn't really necessary. I would have just taken the slowdown. But Frege's move afterwards, also not the best. In terms of initiating, 60-40, I would say, Folds, Frege, in terms of that incident. But that's just my personal opinion. I'm not a steward. I just talk in the commentary booth for fun. That was the most objective that I could make that, not assumption, but rather observation is the word that I'm looking for there. But regardless, the race continues on with James Newell in the lead for the first time since Hungary last week. And Olivier Henrico says, you know what, I'm going to do this instead. So he'll make the way around, takes away the apex. Great job from Henrico. Try and stick around the outside with James Newell. They just nearly make contact there. And Henrico is about to try to use all the available space here, I think, as Newell sticks alongside Henrico, feinting to the left, still feinting to the left. Newell, Henrico, still side by side. Both of them go over the curbs, and this brings in Charles Wolfe into this battle. Henrico has no slipstream. He doesn't have a run. Here comes Charles Wolfe to the outside. Can he make his way around to P2? Is he going to try and go for the gap? No, he doesn't go for it. Henrico does, because he's still there. So it will be side by side. Preferred lane gets squeezed, though, for Newell. They still face forward. They're still continuing on. And this side-by-side battle continues on. Both drivers managing to hold off effectively 4 other cars behind him. And the newcomer to the top split this week is Sneakloth in that number 2 car. Here comes Charles Wolfe as well, poking the nose to the inside. Can't quite get there. And still, Henrico and Newell remain side by side. Neither of them want to give this up. Newell with a hip and shoulder in the final corner. And with just under 10 minutes remaining, it's Newell to the lead. But for how long? Because he's got 6 other drivers behind him that are itching to get to the lead. Henrico decides against bump drafting into turn number 1. He'll be the first on the brakes and the hardest on the brakes to the outside lane. Side by side between these two still, as Brent will round out to the 2nd place position. But for now, it will be James Newell up out front, with Brent Skincloth battling between Henrico, Wolfe, Bartlett, and Mullins. Will round out the remaining top 7 positions. I will say, if Coates is happening to be listening to the broadcast, please tow back to pit road. You are messing with our live timing. I'll bring you the live timing once it is corrected here up on screen, but verbally it is. We will say James Newell, 1st place. 2nd place, Olivier Henrico. 3rd place, Brent Skincloth. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I hope so. Charles Wolfe is 4th. 5th place, Matthew Bartlett. 6th place is Matt Mullins. 7th is Eugenio Puilsi. 9th place, Mario Alfredo, and 10th place is Gregorio Moreno Jr. Correction. 8th place, Mario Alfredo. 9th place, Moreno. 10th place is Tom Sanders. And here's the gap just out front, about 0.8 of a second. As James Newell makes his way through the first corner for the first time in a while, in a couple laps at least, that he's not being challenged by anybody behind him. Through the chicane we go, taking a little bit more curb is Enrico. Now, if I were Brent, I would be bump drafting the back of James Newell here just to catch up, and it looks like it wouldn't be the first time because that nose is quite pushed in. So here's James Newell, and the view behind him are 6 other MX-5s. Correction, I think 5 other MX-5s, I should say. Nope, I was right the first time. 6 other MX-5s. They're all itching to get their win of the season. Newell, of course, will be continuing the podium streak as things continue, but even still, oh, Brent, a little bit on the grass there on corner exit. We just saw that off a little bit in the background as Charles Wolf will be making his way through. Let's ride on board for a lap with Matt Mullins. A great view of all the battles out ahead of him as we have rode on board with Matt Mullins. And down the straightaway we go once again. That's Olivier Henrico and James Newell, first and second. 4 cars battling amongst themselves for the 3rd place spot. But can they work together? We'll find out here in the last 4 minutes of this race. And that live timing will promptly correct itself. There we go. As these drivers are making their way up towards the tail end. That is one lap car. Not sure who that is as of yet. This will be the number 24 of Fraga. Well, how much longer can these drivers work together is the question. We have 2 laps to go this time by. At the moment, we're showing a predicted 17 laps. That should bump itself back up to 18 laps here in a second, as that is what the predicted lap count would be. As Henrico leads the way through the final 2 corners. And we're going to head to the second to last lap. This time by. One lap around here is 1 minute and 41 seconds. And we'll see if anyone's going to try and help each other out here. Will they try and get to last up on the podium, or will they try and fight for the win? Or will Newell and Henrico make contact for the win and bring us a new winner that way? We have no idea. It wouldn't be the first time. It happened last season. That's how John Miller III had won last season, as Frege just gets out of the way. Holds up Henrico just a little bit. But Henrico might have to start going defensive here from Newell. And we'll see how defensive he goes, but I would say we're just in that territory, especially from Schenkloff. I think that's how it's pronounced. Nope, Schneekloff. I think it is Schneekloff. But from Schneekloff, he is just about within the range of Slipstream. He is within the range of striking. He has brought in Bartlett, Wolf, and Mullins, as well as Puilsi lurking in 7th place in case anything does happen between those drivers. We'll have to wait and see, but this time by is firmly 100% the final lap once we cross the start-finish line again. Either way, we're in line for a new winner, so the 8 wins, 4 of each from Folds and 4 from Shepard. That streak will be broken this race. Debatably on merit, as Folds did not set a qualifying time. He did show up for this race. But in terms of the broadcast championship, as many drivers are actually involved in the crash here, off in the background, that is Britain. That is one of those drivers. Aaron Reynolds, another one of those drivers, I believe. And David Holloway, Frankie Sugamelli with heavy damage. Well, regardless, the battle for the lead will continue. We'll see if we can get a replay of that in the meantime. But for the first time this season, we're in line for a 3rd winner of this season. Who that winner will be by the end of this lap, we don't know. But the one thing that is for sure is that the 4 wins from Shepard, the 4 wins from Folds, they will stay even between each other as we head into the final third of this season. Will it be Olivier Henrico, who has shown up this race with an absolutely amazing drive against James Newell, or will it be James Newell, who goes to the outside? He almost won last week against Michael Folds. He might win this week against Olivier Henrico, who slides off the racetrack, stays side by side. He falls back to 2nd. Does Henrico try and send it? So far, he's in control of his MX-5. Here comes Heusinkveld to the inside for the 2nd place position. Wipers trying to get the dirt off the windshield, but I don't think there would be anything for James Newell, who has finished on the podium so far this season, every single race that he has been a part of. And that streak will continue this week. And to his relief, and no doubt to his elation, finally, this season, James Newell will win in the Advanced MX-5 Cup Series presented by Heusinkveld. Finally getting a win on the season, as the rest of the field will continue finishing up here at IMS. But finally, for James Newell, he can say he is a winner here in this series. He has shown that he has the pace. He has shown that he has the consistency, just like Folds, just like Shepard. And this week, he has shown that, yes, he can win. But can he do it again against Folds and against Shepard? He almost did it last week, and this time he has shown that he indeed can, too, be a race winner. The 3rd race winner of this season. And man, oh man, what a race this was. Let's go ahead and throw up the finishing results on your screen, as this week provides, I would say, the best race of the season, up there with Alton Park from last week. Just a little bit more chaos in comparison. James Newell, race winner. Brent Schneekloth, a podium finisher. First time in the top split finishes on the podium. Seems a lot like James Newell, if you ask me. Could Brent Schneekloth be a force to reckon with in the coming weeks if he does decide to race for the rest of this season? Olivier Henrico, as well, a consistent driver, finishes on the podium in his own right. And for Henrico, if we double check for this season, which I'm looking through right now, he has finished 5th from race 4 onwards, from what I can tell. He's finished 5th. He did not attend race number 6. Race number 7, he had finished in 7th. Race 8, he finished 3rd. And this race, he finishes in 3rd. So, out of technicality, I think only a few races, one race outside of the top 5 for Henrico. Shout out to Charles Wolfe as well, as he finishes 4th place this week. Definitely a force to reckon with at times with some tracks, and you know what? This track was definitely one where it clicked. The two Matts finish 5th and 6th, with Matthew Bartlett finishing in 5th and Matt Mullins finishing in 6th. Eugenio Puelsi finishes in 7th. 8th place is Mario Alfredo. Gregorio Moreno Jr. finishes in 9th, with Tom Sanders, as always, rounding out in the top 10. Tony Wallace finishes in 11th, with Wesley DeCruz finishing in 12th. 13th place is Justin Reynolds. Frankie Sigamelli finishes in 14th, with Aaron Reynolds, yes, brother to Justin, finishes in 15th. David Holloway, first time for this top split, he finishes in 16th. Daniel Ponikovar also finishes in 17th, also new to the top split this week. Michael Tangaretta, I believe the second time he started in the top split, he finishes in 18th. 19th place should be, that's a little bit of a misread, interesting, but 19th place should be Jeremy Wilson, and then 20th place is Matthew Breton. Wilson also new to the top split this week, with Matthew Breton, I believe, having his second start in the top split. And then the rest of the field, Michael Coates finishing in 21st after a spin out. Carlos Frega finishes 22nd. 23rd should be Gatis Petrovskis. And then Philip Weingart finishes in 24th, with Michael Folds finishing in the 25th place position as a result of the contact with Carlos Frega on the opening laps. Well, wasn't that fun? Wasn't that an event and a half? Guess what? We get to do it all over again, but next week. And this time, the next race is going to be at the Tsukuba circuit. But that will be the 2000 Moto layout. And next week we'll have the finishing results and the championship standings updated. But as of right now, provisionally, it should be, out of technicality, I believe, Folds should potentially still get points. We might have to adjust some things around here, depending on if the actual MX-5 point standings actually have a finishing requirement, so you don't just start and park and still get points. But we'll figure out the championship standings next week, because, oh boy, have they ever been shuffled, and has IMS ever provided one heck of a show for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Racing Line Network. Thank you so much for tuning in to another 30-minute race. We have just a few more going into next week, 3 more, in fact, with race number 10 being the Tsukuba circuit over in Japan. Oh man, just imagine 20 MX-5 cars around there. It is going to be an absolute blast, as per usual. We will see you all next week in the virtual lands of Japan.